by the end of this video, I'm hoping I can encourage anyone watching to realize that you can just do a lot of things. And I'm going to walk through a few of the stories that I've lived on my short time alive thus far. I'm almost 27. And some examples of things that you can just do. And you don't have to learn how to do them. You don't need a degree. You don't need any sort of expertise. You can just do them. And once you do them, it unlocks a lot of freedom and opportunity of more things that you can do. And it also removes a lot of obstacles that you might not have thought were there. And if you did know they were there, you might not have thought were easily removable. So what I mean by things is primarily talking about travel, and not necessarily travel in the sense of like, let me get a flight to Barcelona or whatever and eat paella or whatever they eat over there. I mean more like just get on a bike and bike somewhere and sleep somewhere along the way and bring a can of beans and some beef jerky for dinner, or quit a job and sleep in your car for a month and drive to Canada, or go to Europe with no plan for 8 months, live with some friends, meet people, live in hostels, sleep in a subway station. You can do all of it. So I'll start back kind of as early as I can remember of this first sort of experience. And I went to Europe when I was 18 for 3 months. I was in Paris for 2 weeks and then Amsterdam for a week. And this one doesn't really count, so I'll kind of breeze through it because I didn't have a job yet. I was just going into university, community college. The sports program at the time I was doing didn't start yet, so it was kind of this limbo point. Not too much there. But the next time where I really traveled was a drive I did from Arizona to Canada when I was, how old was I? I was probably 20. And I took my, again, you can Google how to do these things, but I want to bring to light the reality that you can do them. I was in a Ford Fiesta, a hatchback. I'm about 5'11" or 180 centimeters. I folded the seats down flat. I put down some plywood. I put probably some kind of like sleeping mat on it, and I slept in it. I would stick my feet through the, what's it called? Armrest, the center console, and that's how I slept for a whole month. I drove all through California, through Oregon, Washington, and into Canada, and then on my way back. And along the way, you can just do things. I slept by the Golden Gate Bridge, woke up there, fried potatoes, had tea, and kept going on my way. When I got to Portland, Oregon, I went to the fanciest looking bakery I could find, named Tabor, Tabor Bakery. I walked in, I asked to speak to the manager, and I said, prefaced, I'm not an angry customer, I just have a question. And I asked, can I work for you for free for a few days? And they looked at me very weird, and they asked for more details, and I said, I'm just driving through. I'm a baker from Arizona. And they were like, sure. So I got paid in bread and avocado toast, and I worked like 2 6-hour shifts, and it was a great time. I learned a lot. Probably the best bakery I've ever been at, hands down, 100%. Got to Canada, stayed with my cousin who was living there at the time, celebrated New Year's, went to an Irish pub. Might not look it, but I'm about half Irish, Scottish, that whole thing, and that was fun. And then I just drove back, and that was an amazing experience. It was about 30 days living out of the car, little stove in the back, frying the potatoes. I don't think I got stopped any. I did steal a sign from Canada, a no parking sign, which one of my friends probably has at this point back in Arizona. Another thing I did was, and I don't want this video to sound like braggy. I'm conscious of that, and I don't know. But I just hope it inspires even just one person to do something random and unexpected, and it takes training wheels off your life and whatnot. Another thing I did was this would have been March of 2020. Right when COVID was kind of hitting everything, I got on my single speed stainless steel bike, or steel bike, very heavy, single speed, and I put a little triangle bag on it and a backpack, and I biked from Phoenix to Los Angeles, and it took about 4.5 days. I had basically no training. I mean, I would bike for transportation purposes, but that was about it, and I just did it. And I slept maybe about 50 meters off to the side of the highway the first night, and the rest of the nights was in a hotel, and I don't regret it, like, at all. I mean, you can just do things. We can get into like the school system stuff and how it teaches you for 12 years of like, this is the way you should do things. You need to go to college, you need to get this job, you need to have stability and this and that. And I'm not disagreeing with any of that. I'm not saying you shouldn't have stability, but there's a difference between stability and like enforced rigidity. Like, how many people do you know, or even maybe you watching this, and myself included at many times in my life, like, aren't capable of doing things outside of what they've been told, how to eat, how to think, what to put into their bodies, what to watch, what not to watch, who to listen to, who not to listen to, who's the enemy, who's the hero. We've been told that our whole lives. And although nobody has explicitly said, no, you can't bike across state lines or 400 and whatever miles, like, most people think they're incapable of it. I'm an average athlete at best. And again, you can just do things. When I went to Europe, this would have been July 2022, didn't have a plan. I had an online job that was making about, and this isn't a financial video, so I'm not like getting into like, oh, you need to have XYZ numbers figured out in order to do XYZ. I know plenty of people that have traveled the world with either no online job or like an online job making, I don't know, a few hundred, on some contract work or whatever. I was making $1,000 US per month. I stayed with my friends Max and Josh in France for, I want to say I was there with them for 2 months, give or take, and then we parted our ways, and then I was just figuring it out. Income went up a little bit. It was probably at around 1,800, 2,000 at that point. I would find the cheapest Airbnb or hostel I could get, eat basic food. Didn't have a plan. I would camp. I bought camping gear, camped in Chamonix and Annecy in France. Interesting experience. I'd never solo camped before, at least outside of a car. And yeah, like, you just do it. And of course, the biggest fear that you might think is like, okay, obviously if you die, then that's a pretty big problem. But anything short of that, losing limbs, whatever, like, who knows, you can get mauled by a bear. But basically anything short of like serious damage or death, it's hard to regret, or it's hard to go wrong. Like, you can always re-find a job. Like, unless you have, I mean, to be honest, it's hard for me to imagine a job that like you couldn't find again. It's like, sure, there's the whole idea of climbing the corporate ladder, and that's a whole different conversation. But I quit a pizzeria job. There's a lot of pizzeria jobs. I quit a bakery job. There's a lot of bakery jobs. I've quit barista. I've quit hospital. I've quit grocery store, Chipotle. What else? General contractor. You can find these over and over and over again. And even if it is your dream job, I think to live a life through your 20s and 30s, and I'm only 27 or almost 27, so what do I know? But to just keep going with that rigid path that is imposed upon you for just an arbitrary reason that this is the way that the people in charge of my education, or schooling I should say, because calling it education is a bit questionable when it's not really there for your education, it's more for your control, is not the smartest move, in my opinion. And again, I'm not saying that there's not value in stability and growth, but to what expense? And a good friend of mine, his maybe he's watching this. Anyway, I won't say his name in case. His mom was giving a talk at our community college team. She was I think she's a financial planner or something, and it was about college preparedness or something. I don't even remember, but she said one thing regarding travel, and I was just telling him about this not that long ago, and it stuck with me ever since she said it. She's, I don't know, probably in her 50s now, and she said don't skip on travel. And I think for her, she said the word travel, but travel could really mean a lot of things, because you can still gain the experiences found in travel without literally traveling. You could stay within 100 miles of, or even 50 miles or whatever, of where you're at, and gain the benefits of travel. So I think travel is more of a metaphor for experiences and learning and growth and community and fun. And I don't mean fun as in, just straight degeneracy, but I mean fun as in doing outside of what has been put forth for us. And that's just stuck with me ever since she said that, however many, 8 years ago now, 7 or 9 years ago. And it's just things I wish, all these things that I'm saying almost at 27 years old is I've lived a lot of it, as in I like to think that I've put forth a good effort to accomplish or to fulfill these things that I'm saying. I've done the Europe. I've been to remote island off the coast of Australia. That's a whole different thing. I biked further than I ever thought I would ever bike in my entire life. There's still so many other things I want to do that I haven't done yet, and I haven't put forth a plan to do yet. I want to camp out in the wild for 2 weeks with nothing but an axe and maybe a hand drill, maybe a gun, I don't know, and just do it. And again, anything short of me dying or losing a limb, I'm fine with. Because why wouldn't you be? It's biking. You risk, really damaging yourself. But again, anything short of death or losing a limb, or obviously brain damage, it's fine. What's the worst that can happen? And I think that's a big thing that I could have always asked myself in the past as well. So what's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen if I take a leap of faith with XYZ situation, right? And the reality is, the worst case is pretty not that bad. What's the worst case? I lose my job? Cool. There's 50,000 other fast food restaurants looking for people. Yeah. You can just do things. I'm trying to think of what other things. Shoot. Yeah, there was a time where, this is pretty niche, but I got my all my stuff stolen when I was in Greece, and it forced me to do things that I never thought feasible. I was in a panic. I was trying to run or chase in the direction of the guy that stole my backpack, but he was long gone. And I went up to a complete stranger and asked, he was about to get on a moped, and I was like, can you give me a ride to the police station? And he was like, sure. And I got on a moped with a random guy, and he took me 5 kilometers to get to the police station. I said thank you, and that was it. It's what's the worst that can happen? They can say no. Okay, cool. And it took for me to reach that point of getting all of my possessions stolen in order for me to do that. There's just so many things. You can just do it. The business is by no means successful yet. But I'm selling leather goods and wooden goods online. It's I don't technically have an LLC for that business. I buy some wood, I buy some leather, I watch some YouTube videos, I put up a Stripe link, people pay it, they send me their address, I send them the thing. It's pretty simple. anyone can sell anything. And I think in this age of AI that's coming up and the infinite knowledge and information available is going to have a huge, in my opinion, a huge shift in what's valuable and what's not. Like, what does the world look like when you can have any entertainment, any course, any piece of knowledge, any fact, formula, math, calculation, all of it's instantaneously available? And the entertainment one is huge. I saw today some more clips of the Google AI generator, and it's like full YouTube videos with fake characters that look real available. And this is only a thought I've had in recent days, that I think we're gonna have a huge pivot to the need and value for everything to be physical and real again. And obviously there's going to be people, and I'm not saying this isn't me, like as probably true for everyone watching this, has been affected and has been sucked into the online world in some capacity, or still is. And what happens when the availability of that online world becomes infinite with, like I said, entertainment, education, information, calculations, everything? It's like, you still need to eat, you still need to get outside, get some sun, get some good water, get some good air. You still, hopefully for most of us, need to create a home, create a family, create a life. And AI generated movies aren't going to do it, and more courses on how to start online courses are not going to do it. And like, these things can exchange value, and they do exchange value. They exchange value in the form of, I give one person information to do something and they give me money, which is a form of value. But it's all just a bubble. It's all just bubbling up to nothing. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not an expert. This is just where my brain's going, of like, we're reaching infinite. We're reaching an infinite digital availability of anything and everything we want instantly. But the same cannot be said about physical. Now, might that come when AI gains more physical abilities, the ability to build products? Sure. But there's still limitations within physical. And I think that's why there's going to be a huge shift to physical products. And my friend and roommate Max, he brought up a very cool fact, is that all of the wealthiest people he knows are physical product creators. And he's got a family friend that does cornhole boards, very, very successful doing cornhole boards. I used to work for a company, and he knows the owner as well. Freak Athlete Essentials, they do it's called fitness equipment, physical product. And we have a friend, Matthew Tam, who does Healthy Soul soap. It's a soap product. ATG, Ben Patrick, although they're a online coaching company, which kind of taps into the physical. They also sell equipment, which I think their equipment makes them more money. I could be wrong about that, but that's where it's at. And my mentor, Keegan Smith, also has been saying it for a while, not so much with products, but with experiences, physical experiences. There's the Bali Time Chamber. It's all physical. Like, no amount of online entertainment stimulus can give you the same thing that, a mountain gym village with steak and pull-up bars and a sauna could do. Like, and that's premium. You can even bring that down to just like a campfire with some ground beef and a kettlebell and some time with your friends. Like, that's gonna beat any form of online entertainment forever, hopefully. So this has gone way off track, but I've just been feeling a need to make more content like this. And AI is probably going to take over all this, but not being pessimistic. The thing is, if AI just stays in the online world, and I don't know if it will, but who cares, you know? If it just stays in the online world and enough of the population just gets sucked into the online way of thinking or the online way of living, then what does it really matter to the physical? Like the internet and everything that comes with it can stay on its own in its own internet land, and then those that choose to live outside of it, growing farms, growing families, animals, you know, physical products, physical solutions, building, bringing back the value of trades, you know, mechanic repair, carpentry, welding, farming, of course, education, face-to-face, real, truth-seeking education. That would be where it's at. So, yeah, this is all over the place. Started off with just wanting to speak on realizing you can do anything. And you can, and I can. And this is a message equally to myself because I need it as well. And I'm working on some products right now involving ice cream. I'm most excited about that one. I think it'll, I'll just give a tidbit on that. I might as well, since this is already all over the place, but I was doing some basic research. I can actually just look it up on the computer, I think. Here it is. At the average, now it's super dark, the average American consumes almost 24 pints of ice cream per year. Now, a lot of that ice cream is filled with additives, even seed oils and whatnot, that are obviously not having a positive effect on one's health. And my friend Matthew, that owns Healthy Soul Soap, he's talked about, I think he's talked about this, or maybe I've just inferred it from what he's saying, but basically, you know, everyone uses soap almost every day, or like almost everyone uses soap almost every day, and that's billions of people, and 99% of that soap is very harmful to the body and the skin. So he's basically just putting himself in a position where he has a tiny percent of the market share right now, and that can only grow and grow and grow through education, awareness, marketing, improving their systems to make the soap cheaper, better, more widely available, etc. And the same can be said for so many things. If we look at ice cream as a similar problem, where people are consuming on average a pint every 2 weeks, which isn't a crazy amount, but all of that is really low quality ice cream. And the only reason they're buying the ice cream is because the barrier of entry of making ice cream at home is so high. And that's something that I'll get into in a separate video probably. There's so many problems with the current way of making ice cream, and it sounds like such a small problem. It's like, oh no, people don't know how to make ice cream. And fair enough, maybe it is a small problem. But if enough people, and I could be one of these, I need to follow through with it and make this a reality, but if enough people solve a small problem, the impact it can have on the world at large is profound. And ice cream is just one of these problems. And I know people that are solving protein powder problems, beef problems, milk problems, you know, energy bar, energy drink, whatever, right? These are all stages. And, you know, maybe the core of this is just going back to a way of life where you eat food that is grown within whatever, 50 miles of you, how things used to be. And it's nice. I like the idea of that. But we're not there yet. So the idea I have with the ice cream is to basically solve all the problems that I see with current ice cream makers. They're expensive, they're loud, they use electricity separate from your freezer. What else? They're heavy. There's a lot of them that have like a frozen base that you need to freeze in the freezer for up to like a day before use. They require churning either through a machine that's very slow, like it slowly spins it for like 20-30 minutes, or a very loud, fast machine like the Ninja Creamy, which is also expensive and heavy. And I've come up with a method, and it's a method that has already existed in the past, but a more streamlined singular product with a method that allows you to make ice cream at home very easily. My aim would probably be about 90 seconds of active work time and then about an overnight freeze. And the primary target would be basically people that know ice cream is healthy, like good quality egg yolks, cream, etc. is healthy. They also know that it's affordable. Even if you buy like stupid high quality cream and eggs, you're probably looking at like $3 a pint, as opposed to like $10 for a quality that isn't even as good from the stores. So that'd be the aim there. And like to me, that it's such a small problem, but if that's solved, then it's just another little block in the problem-solving chain that can have a profound impact. So that's the idea there. I've made a prototype, and I've got some more materials coming in the mail tomorrow. Some steel rods that I'm going to try to bend at a nearby auto parts store, if they let me, to make the churning device, but it might not even be necessary, so we'll see. And then alongside that, I'm trying to build a mini hand crank manual mixer, like a whisk, and yeah, we'll see if that works. I wish I had a 3D printer, to be honest. That would be a lot easier, but yeah, if I can make that in conjunction with this ice cream maker, that would be perfect. So yeah, those are the thoughts right now. If you're watching this, appreciate you staying to the end, and I like this. I might just do this more often. I have more ideas at night. Almost all the ideas of things that I've built come at night. When I was building my car, everything. That's another thing. You can just build things in your car. I know I'm all over the place. It's almost midnight, but you can just build things in your car. You can, if your car, if you own it, unless it's a lease or a rental, if you own your car, you can just do whatever you want to it. I've seen people, these are videos from Russia, they turned their car into a sauna with a wood burning stove inside. Now, would I personally recommend it? Probably not. But you can just do things. It's like, oh, your seats lay flat? Cool, like put some plywood down. Oh, like you have a battery pack that you don't use? Like, cool, you can plug it into the back and you can put some lights. You can bring a laptop or a TV in there. You can put a speaker in there. You can put camping gear in there. You can do all these things. You can go to a national forest and just camp, I think. You have to fact check me on that. All these things you can just do, and it's amazing. And it makes sense that most people don't think they can do any of these things because they have 12 plus years of schooling telling them like the only subjects that matter are math, science, social studies, English. Like that's the routine: math, science, social studies, English. And they have a little PE and art thrown in here, but for 12 years that's like encompassing everything you do. So no wonder people don't think like, oh yeah, I can just like go to the beach and like sleep there for a couple days and surf, and go to a cafe, make a pizza, cook it on the beach, steak, whatever you want, go back home. Cool. You can just do all these things, and it's amazing. Anyway, yeah, I'm just ranting, but again, if you watched all the way to the end, very much appreciate it. That's bright. And if you were inspired to do something you never thought you would do, I would love to hear it down below.